Yes, a good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I'm absolutely frazzled today. I'm not thinking straight, and I've got too much on my plate. Not really in terms of work, but in terms of thinking and figuring out a few important things for work um, that Mr. Miller and I have discussed. Very important. So I'm nowhere. I'm useless. And those of you who are on my groups know that. WhatsApp groups. Excuse me. This is Judith. I got her from Louis Hutton. Doubtless, I know the reason he gave her to me, but perhaps I shouldn't give his secret away. He seemed to, those of you who know Louis know that until recently he had roughly 50 dogs. Do you know the Bouviers? Marguerite's fancy, schmancy, exceedingly expensive Bouviers. They destroyed 40 grand's worth of his neighbor's sheep. So he had to sort them out. And then he got rid of his hunting packs. Doubtless for very good money because they were exceptional dogs. Anyway, Louis knows a thing or two about dogs. And he said to me that he thinks that this is going to be a very good dog. In fact, he wanted her for himself until his conscience plagued him. And he gave her to me the day before yesterday, and I'm very grateful. Very, very grateful. She comes out of top, not 10 and 20,000 rand dogs. Far north of that. The one line anyway. I've called her Judith because, well, Judith, I don't know if you know, many people don't know this because they only know one canon. I might have to put her down in a second. And she's worn me thin, let me tell you. She is half of the reason why I am the way I am today. I don't know if you know, but there are various canons of the Bible in Christianity. The Protestant canon, everybody knows. The Roman Catholics have a couple more books, and they, like the Protestants, then also have deuterocanonical books. The Greek Orthodox have some others. The Serbian Orthodox is actually a nice video by Father Lazarus L. Antony, the very famous monk who prays for the soul of the world on the side of a mountain. Did you ever see that movie, that television program, where the Church of England priest goes to visit the guy, and the monk warns him. He says, yeah, we fight for the soul of the world. This is not play. If you want to spend the night here, you must brace yourself. And the priest kind of laughs him off. And Father Anthony says to him, look, there was a very religious German man who came to see me a few years ago. And he got such a fright, was so frightened by what happens here at night, that he ran away in the night. Lo and behold, this Church of England Anglican priest who thought he knew everything woke up in the night, and he's got the camera, and his face is just sheer terror. And he's talking about the sounds and the visions and the what have you going on outside. Absolutely terrified. That priest's faith was tested that night and was found wanting. Anyway, not that I could do any better. I'm just saying it was tested and he was found wanting. This video that I was telling you about, Father Anthony talks about the Serbian Orthodox Church, the books that it has, and the Russian Orthodox and so on. Anyway, so there is a book from the Bible that many people say is not a book from the Bible, particularly Protestants, called the Book of Judith. Judith was or Judith was the heroine who cut off the head of the Assyrian general Holofernes or Holofernes. In English, you never know how to pronounce anything until you hear or you read in the Oxford Dictionary. Because in English, there are only 50 rules. We have the fewest rules of any language. But every rule in English has 50 exceptions of its own. Anyway, so she chopped off the head of this Assyrian general who was going to kill her people. She's got a hernia here, just in case you wonder what that is. Just a small one. And this brat, yesterday, started vomiting on a drive. Yesterday morning I had an extremely powerful conversation of great significance, and it required me to give it a lot of thought. And so I took the day off, just to spend time with my own thoughts and try and figure things out. It's not troublesome. It's nothing to worry about. It's good, but it must be handled well. And Oom Johan Ayers and I took a long drive. And we ended up as far as the Maria's place, if you know where that is. It was just a case of going a little bit further, and a little bit further, and a little bit further, and neither of us wanted to turn around. And eventually I said to him when we were at the Maria's, we should probably just say hello, so that nobody wonders who were the strange characters on that service road. No, behave yourself. And she got sick. I thought, that's it. Cat flu, because I've got the cat flu spores here badly. And you can never really get rid of them. People tell you the chlorine and what have you. I did it all. And I overdid it. And I did it more than once. But you can't get rid of spores in the bark of a fir tree or in the lawn. So I'd had her for 24 hours. I'd already attempted to arrange with Elise Nell, the Seitlande, to have her injected. Elise didn't have Muti, so I raced through to Hopetown. And I recently lost a few dogs by just a day or two. I do have the spores here. It's as simple as that. And you can't inject too early. What was the story? Oh! I'll give you a few seconds. Guess how old she is by her size. And I can tell you that her weight was yesterday 6.96 kgs. Look at the size. And those of you who know me in person know that I'm a bit of a fat boy. So 7 weeks and 2 days. 7 weeks and 2 days, this Malinois. She's big. And it turns out she's ferocious. There's just been in this office now, immediately prior to the video, 3 dog fights. And she instigated all 3 of them. So we got to the vet, got her injected, figured out that it was car sickness that had caused her to vomit a couple of times. And while we were there, she got stuck into my hunting dog, which is a fearsome fighter. And the vet nearly had, she couldn't believe that I allowed it to happen. It was just for a few seconds, but that I wasn't in hysterics myself. But I wanted to see what would happen. And it's easy to separate them after that. And then she said to me, do you understand what a special dog you've got? I said, yeah, I know. Louis told me. She said, this is a very, very special dog. And then I turned my back to look at something, I think, or to see where Macy was, the hunting dog, the good fighter, although she's so small. Do you want to get down? There's the hernia. You see that? Little hernia. We'll have to have it fixed. Now, I wonder how urgent it is. So, while my attention was distracted, I overheard the vet gossiping with the receptionist and telling her what a prize dog this is. Remarkable dog. etc., etc. Anyway, I think that I got distracted on the Judith story. Judith was the heroine of Israel who cut off the head of Holofernes, and I would like this dog to be a heroine. That's why I named her that way. I don't want a dog that is everybody's friend. I can't stand that. I demand, because of my life and my lifestyle and my nature and what I need. I'm not Elizabeth Taylor, and I don't live in Parkhurst. I want dogs that are loyal to me, and if I hear one more woman say, Mutter se liefde, and then promptly start playing with Macy, I'm going to scream. It's true, Macy is very, very beautiful. She's an exceptionally beautiful dog. She's an eye-catching dog. Everybody that sees her is drawn to her, at least for a few seconds. She is remarkable in appearance, but she's not their dog. And so all of these ladies in the Dorp have kind of seduced Macy into believing that, she can take instructions from anybody. And I want a very loyal dog. So, on the way back from Hopetown Vet yesterday afternoon, I stopped in to see Eric Bornman. And many of you remember Eric Bornman from Orania and previously from East Rand. Very well known, very well liked guy. You know his charming wife. She gives horse riding lessons. They have horses in Orania. And when I arrived there were lots of people on the horses, climbing on the horses, pulling on their jodhpurs or whatever they're called, getting their batons ready to whack the horses. No, not really, but you know what I mean. And there was a little boy who wasn't riding. Judith! Yo. And this has been going on since before 5 o'clock this morning. So I got out. I wanted to have a word with Jessica, and Eric and I were chatting, and there was a little boy there who, this dog was following me everywhere I went while I was on the phone, putting in a quick phone call, getting it out of the way before I sat to talk with Eric. And I was on the phone and I turned. So now the dog is behind me, or in front of me, I should say. She had been following, I turned, she's in front of me, and I see the following scene play out. This little boy, lovely little boy, clearly a lovely guy, you could just see it in his face, wanted to play with my dog. I don't know what parents bring their children up like this, just to go and talk to other people's dogs. When I was a kid, that was one of the first things that you learned. That was what set us apart. And I don't mean to get onto any racial note, but white kids learned to swim, and they learned to stay away from other people's dogs. And how to cross the road. Judith, today this dog is going to get it. And she had observed him coming nearer, and Judith! And she went for him. 7 weeks old, 7 weeks and 1 day yesterday. And she didn't bark, rah, 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 or growl. She went and did that thing where they dig in their forelegs and say, right, now come further and see what happens. So, hey, I'm telling you, I don't know. But guys, that's just a story. And I don't have much else for you. We could talk about Putin's speech. We could talk about the unbelievable Biden going to Ukraine with Russia's permission 3 days before Putin's speech. We'll get around to that, but I am sadly building up a bit of a backlog because, as I say, I must very seriously turn my attention to 2 or 3 other things that have come up, and they're just those sorts of things that, I don't want to exaggerate the work that I do. I'm well aware, and I don't believe that I'm a conceited person. So not to overstate it, but it's that kind of work where actually what you should be doing is playing golf or surfing or whatever, fishing, because it requires thought and prudence and wisdom rather than blundering enthusiasm. Yeah, so bear with me if I'm a bit quiet. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just getting back into the swing of making videos, as I think that you can tell. And I'm quite eager for the task. There's lots and lots and lots to talk about. I've got notes like you can't believe. More over there, more over here. These are all, just thoughts, a collection of small thoughts. Yeah. Call me. I'm coming with or hiding. All right, everybody. Let me go take care of these animals. And Pebbles is busy dying. I told Louis and Marguerite just in the past few weeks. So they had a look at her, gums professionals that they are. Didn't believe a word I said. And they agreed. She's just in 3 weeks, she's just gone like that. All of a sudden. So yesterday, for the first time, when we raced through to the vet, we had been in Johan's Jeep. She couldn't get in. She couldn't get out. She just lay there. We got home, and I didn't let her get into the my bucky, which she can't do by herself now, as of the past 5-6 days. So when I went to the vet, on that trip, other than overseas trips, for the first time in 9 years, 9.5 years, no, it'll be 9 years in 6 weeks' time, the end of March. So for the first time in 9 years, she did not go with me to every single place that I went. Yeah, big changes, man. Big changes. But that's life. What can you do? Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you didn't mind that this video was just a chit-chat about things going on in my house. I had intended to segue into something very serious. But halfway through, I just realized that my brain is all scrambled eggs this afternoon. And this blooming dog is just distracting me left, right, and center. So thank you for your patience. And hopefully, I can't promise, but hopefully tomorrow I'll be on the ball if I'm not still a little bit preoccupied by figuring things out. That's what it is. It's figuring things out. And I already have all of the information in my head. It's now about figuring it out. And that you can't do on a computer or on a telephone or even on a pad. You've got to just, take and connect and put all of the legkaart stukkies, the jigsaw puzzle pieces in the right place. Enough said. Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye, and God bless all of you in the time that lies ahead of us. There are dark warnings coming out of Eskom. Stage 9 was not announced today, but they are going to factor it into the roster. It does not exist on the roster at present. And not for no reason. We've got what's happening in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin just withdrew from the START. The START was originally the Strategic Arms Reduction Talks. discussions between the Soviet Union and the United States of America on ballistic nuclear missiles. And that then became the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. And the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty then became START 2. So there have been these iterations of START. Originally it was talks. And if that's not big news, then I don't know. What is? And the other big thing, sorry I'm taking up so much time now, is of course the bleak warnings about crops in South Africa. Guys. All right then. All of the best to all of you. Cheerio. Bye-bye.